When did things change? How did you make things change? You know, the reason why I'm saying this, you use some pretty powerful words. You use hopeless and you use fear. But now you're competing and getting ready to be a national level bodybuilder. That's you got to come in with a whole different mindset. You have to let fear go. You have to
Yeah.
let hopelessness go. When did the trajectory change, and how did bodybuilding come into your and to let's call it what it is, somewhat give you an alternative to life?
Yeah. When I got sober, in August 2021, I was determined to never to never be that person again, to never be that weak. And I was just sick of being so weak and not being able to follow through and not being strong enough to just do what needed to be done. I was really sick of that. So I decided that I was never going to be back there again. And I learned how to change my brain and heal trauma through proper nutrition, feeding my mind and body the right foods, because I was off of all medications, like everything. So I had to
Yeah.
learn how to make things better inside without that crutch, without a medication. So the nutrition and then the exercise, that's how I got so into the exercise because I found that that really helped with the anxiety. I just decided that everything that I did from that point forward, I felt so much fear
Mhm.
all the time that I was going to just run towards the fear. Something scared me, I was going to challenge myself to do it and try to overcome that fear. And that's where the bodybuilding came in a couple years after I started really getting into fitness.
Mhm.
Uh, I saw people on stage and saw women doing it. And I knew I knew there were certain people in my family that would absolutely die seeing me up there, flaunting my body in a bikini. And then in the back of my head, too, is the way I was raised in that church,
Yeah.
not allowed to wear pants or shorts or anything, being a woman, going from that to being on stage in a bikini, in a little skimpy bikini, and then the muscle and everything on top of it.
Like, now that you look back on your trajectory of life, being traumatized by a belief system of religion, then going out into a different scenario with different cultures being attacked, call it what it is. That's a lot of shit on your plate at such a young age, and then keeping that locked up inside for so many years. Like, you now have children. How do you navigate all this? To keep your children safe, but not keep your children in a fear-based mindset like how society and your family had you.
That's a big thing for me with my kids is I don't want them being raised that way where they feel like they can't be open about anything or free to be themselves.
Mm.
I try to be more accepting and keep an open mind and not shut them down if I don't agree with something that they do or say or something that they want to do. I want
Yeah,
them
go
want
ahead.
them to be able to feel free to be themselves and to learn on their own too. And to be more open about my personal struggles and things that are out there in the world that they do have to be careful of. Not to scare them, but just an honest conversation because it too, when I was a kid, you didn't talk about sex or drugs or any of that. Nobody spoke about any of that. So I had never heard anything about any of that before. And I don't want my kids growing up not knowing what's out there and what they need to pay attention to.